couple words about download. So to download, you can click on the model. Actually, you can click on any of these layers. Well, the model or the percentile composite, and there's a download button. And when you click download, you get this window over here that lets you choose some download parameters. So you can choose either to download what you're looking at or to draw an area. You can choose which bands you want to download. In this case, there's just one called classification. And you can choose, there's some projection options and also a resolution. Now, when you download, after you set all those, you hit download. When you download, what you're going to get is a zip file, and the zip file is going to contain a geotip for every layer that you choose. Now, then you'll undo the zip file, and then you can look at the geotip. Now, the thing that's a little bit tricky is when you download the imagery, it comes in its native format. So in a lot of cases, software won't understand what it is, right? So for the classification one, a normal piece of software, like Photoshop or something, might know what to do with it. For the MODIS data or the Landsat data, a normal sort of tool you would use to look at the data won't know what to do with it. You need to open it up in a GIS package, which can adjust the imagery. That's one of the tricky things about downloading. You have to have another tool to be able to interpret the data. Somebody had a question, yeah?
Yeah, what is the extent of this analysis?
The extent of the analysis?
Yes. Along this page.
Right. Good question. So in this tool, the analysis happens on what you're seeing, and that's it. So if you want it on a larger area, you can zoom out. It'll only let you zoom out so far. If you want to do an even larger area than that, at this point you need to talk to us about it, and then we can enable that.
How about if you want to do it in a Polygon?
Sorry?
How about if you want to do the same analysis in a Polygon?
Ah, great question. That is, so what do you want to do the analysis in a Polygon? Was the question. And, where is it? That is an upcoming feature. So, it used to be, this is great. Yeah, there used to be a button that you couldn't push that was supposed to have that feature, and they took it off. It's not implemented yet, but soon to be implemented is the ability to choose a polygon and just do the analysis in that polygon, or choose a set of polygons and have the classifier just do it on those polygons. So a typical application of that would be ecoregions. Say you want to run a separate classifier for each ecoregion, and you want the points that are in one ecoregion are just restricted to one classifier. The points in a different ecoregion are restricted to another classifier. You could do it that way. So that's not yet in here, but it's coming soon. Yeah.
Can the math engine recognize it?
Depends on the tip. Yeah. So I haven't actually tried it out. I ought to try it out. I think you can, the classification one, it will understand. And probably the Landsat bands, it'll understand that too. Some of the other stuff in the data catalog, like NDVI and those indices, I don't think it can right now.
It only likes to show just 8-bit.
Right. 8-bit, yeah, 8-bit imagery. Yes, that's currently true, but yeah, all this stuff is evolving and getting better and better on a daily basis. Okay, well, I think
unlike the projector.
Yeah, it's getting crazier and crazier. I think I'm going to do everybody a favor and let somebody else use their computer here. So thanks very much. If you have any other questions about this, ask me at the next break. And yeah. great showing you this stuff. Thanks. Now, Tanya will talk about mobile data collection. I forgot to put up the address, right, to get into the Trusted Tester program. So I'll put that up here. Well, it's not. It's an email address.
Okay, so you can either write to Thao at this email, or you can go to earthengine.google.org and click let us know, and that will open your email in a email client, so you can email Thao. It's the same email address. So my name is Tanya Birch, and I work on the Google Earth Outreach team with Raleigh and Karen, everybody who you've met this morning. And I have a special sort of interest in mobile data collection for a lot of the uses that you as conservationists know of. And okay, so that's my email, tanya@google.com, in case you want to email me, either before or after or anytime. So what I'm going to talk about today is Open Data Kit using Android smartphones. So what is Open Data Kit? It's like a toolkit. It's a suite of tools that allows you to go out into the field with an Android device, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone, and collect data in an offline environment, and then bring it back into an online environment and upload that data to the cloud. So that's sort of the one sentence overview of what I'm going to talk about. There are a lot of tools that allow you to collect data offline. Open Data Kit is just one of them. It's not a Google tool. It's been supported by Google because it's one of the best things that we've seen that's out there. But it is an open source tool, and it's available to everybody. It's not a Google tool. So maybe with this, we could switch and play the video. The video is one example of an indigenous tribe in Brazil, in the Amazon region, that has been using Android Open Data Kit or Android phones and Open Data Kit for community forest monitoring. And I think that it sort of tells the story of the capability of the technology, as well as it's just an incredibly compelling story. So if we could switch to your computer in the back and play the video, that would be great. And if you could full screen it too, it can be very demanding.
Many people are familiar with Google Earth. And
if it doesn't let you full screen, that's okay too. And maybe you can make it a bit louder.
many people are familiar with Google Earth. And environmental groups are using it today to take people all around the world virtually to places on the planet that are under threat. The Surui tribe is also using Google Earth as a tool based on the training the Google Earth Outreach team did in 2008 when we went down to the Surui territory in the Amazon. We taught them how to put their cultural map information on Google Earth and share their culture with the world.
Para nossa visão indígena, floresta é uma das papel que pode trazer a clima normal. Estamos trabalhando com o projeto Carbono Surui, né? Então, oferecer ao mercado o serviço que a floresta tem para diminuir o gás estufa.
The Surui Red Carbon Project is one of the most advanced, or is the most advanced in the Amazon today. We're inserting Android handheld devices or telephones into the data collection process for carbon measurement. Because if you say you're going to reduce deforestation and in that way reduce carbon emissions into the atmosphere, you need to be able to measure or show how much carbon you're really preventing from going into the atmosphere.
Para medir uma árvore, você tem que medir o tamanho de árvore que está sendo calculado, o carbono lá, né? Então, você vai seguindo o formulário que está dentro do equipamento.
This is the first project really where the Indians themselves are the ones measuring the carbon and being taught how to do it, and they're using this technology. And so the technology allows them to become the carbon monitors.
Como tecnologia, como equipamento Google, pode ser importante para construir um futuro melhor, um futuro que tenha consciência. Como que as pessoas estão construindo solução para aqueles, mas isoladamente, mas precisamos juntar. Né? Precisamos pensar um mundo como fosse nosso futuro mundo, que é, né?
And what's important now is to use the power of the internet to bring together all the voices that can participate in a dialogue toward constructive solutions for the planet. That's what we're building with that. And we're putting it in the hands of the world. It's going to be a great adventure.
So the reason we decided to put this presentation immediately after Thal's presentation on Earth Engine is that you can collect data when you're out in the field, send it to a fusion table, and then import it into Earth Engine to train a classifier. So it's sort of a very sequential workflow. But overall, what we wanted to talk about is web-enabled mobile devices for offline field data collection. So there's been a number of really interesting use cases from public health to forest monitoring to crisis response to wildlife conservation. And it's sort of an interesting time because you know, as more and more people are getting mobile phones, smartphones, and tablets, they're just changing over from when you were, you know, collecting data with paper form. So this is an example of an old traditional paper form. You used to go out into the field, you had a camera, you had a GPS, and this particular form is on tracking, animal tracking. So you measure a paw print, you measure the plantar pad width, and you record everything down, you write it down on paper. So everybody's familiar with that, right? And this form has 2 pages, it's got some diagrams, it's got some images inside the sort of clipboard-based, the paper-based form. But there's kind of downsides, right? So paper, there's good sides and there's downsides. So the good sides is it's cheap to use paper. It's simple, it's familiar, everybody knows it, it's available, it's, you know, you don't have to have a device to be able to collect data. It doesn't require power, it doesn't require storage. So it is simple, and that's why it's existed for, you know, ever since papyrus or whatever. And it's fun. There's origami that's possible. The bad side is when you're writing by hand on paper, it's prone to errors. So, and anybody who's done surveys has experienced this. There's, you know, data, it's illegible, or it rains and your paper becomes wet, or, so in that sense, it's a format that's not that great. It folds, it gets crumpled, and you need all these supplemental devices for anything else that you want, any other data that you want to collect that is like a water quality monitor or a barcode or anything else. Back in the office, it can take a lot of time to take that data and put it into an electronic format so that you can use it in programs that you're familiar with. Excel, Google, you know, Google services, what have you. And it can give you a paper type. So, what are we looking at now? Now that many, many more people have smartphones, what are the additional features of smartphones that make it exciting? Well, there's a camera. So a smartphone has an eye. There's a video camera, so it can record things for posterity. It's got ears. It can listen to your environment, to your surroundings, and then record that as an MP3 file. And it has GPS built in. So, and one final very important thing is it can access the internet. It can access any of the apps that have been uploaded to the Google Play Store. So in a way, it's like a little human, but it's better. So this is the sort of the slide that shows like an end-to-end data collection process. It's a little bit sort of heavy looking, but I'll try and walk everybody through it. So you create forms online in a tool called Open Data Kit Build, or XLS forms using Excel. And it's, you know, it's an easy way to create forms that Open Data Kit will understand using an open standard. And then you go out into the field and you collect your data. Once you're back online, in an online environment, either with Wi-Fi or with 3G data, then you submit your data back to, you know, onto the cloud. An important distinction, and it's a question we get asked often, for those of you who don't know, is your device can still get a GPS location even if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, or even if you're not in a data connection. So you can be anywhere in the world, and as long as you have a clear view of the sky, you're not inside a building, for example, then you can get a GPS signal. It's a little iffy under dense forest canopy, but certain devices work better than that than others. Then after you submit your data, you can validate your data. You can look at it and say, okay, do I see a bunch of errors? Should I delete this row, or should I, you know, go in and make sure that your data is in a format that you need it? And then comes the interesting part with analyzing data. And one way to do that is what we were demonstrating a moment ago with the classification engine. Finally, you can map your data and publish it on your website, or publish it in Google Maps, or in Google Earth, or in Maps Engine, or Earth Engine. So it's also a very interesting market at the moment with Android, because as we've seen an incredible uptake of Android over the past, what, 2-3 years that Android has been around. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. And whenever I present on this slide, I research the latest numbers and I'm just shocked at the time. So 400 million Android devices around the world, a 59% market share, which was 48% back in February. So it's just growing and growing at a staggering rate. 1.3 million new activations per day, and a bunch of different carriers that are now, carrying Android or carrying phones that support Android, and a bunch of different types of devices, including super cheap devices out on the market. So the one Droid Razr Max that's all the way on the left